Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Backstage Greenroom. I'm Lamorna Nightingale, and I'm the artistic director, I suppose, of Backstage Music. And I'm here chatting with Liz Jigalin and Isabella Rahme. Have I said your surname correctly, Isabella?
Rahme.
Rahme. Well, that's a good start, isn't it? Good thing to do in our meeting. And we're here today to talk a little bit about Clarity Engine, which is the gig that's coming up on the Sunday, the 6th of November in the afternoon. And this program's being curated with Damien Barbala, who's come up with quite a massive thing for us to all experience. So it's particularly nice, I think, to be chatting with you, Liz, because, of course, you were, at Backstage right from the start, and it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you, I think. So I'm really pleased to be chatting to you. And also, of course, really pleased to be talking to you, Isabella, because we haven't really had a proper chat yet at all. I mean, we've chatted after gigs and with Courtney, who's your friend and my student. But apart from that, I feel like I don't know you very well yet. So that's really, I suppose, what today is about, and for you both to let people know what you're doing for this crazy gig. The way that Damien has explained to me how this gig is going to work is basically that he has invited the wackiest composers that he knows to come along and do their most wacky things. So, Liz, maybe you can tell me what your kind of wacky thing is that you're planning on doing.
I was just going to say that it's really nice to chat with you, Lamorna, and also, I'm looking forward to hearing about your work, Isabella, as well. I feel like Damien and I have had a lot of conversations about wacky ideas ever since I had him as a teacher when I was starting at the con in I think 2013. And so it's really great that this gig is an opportunity, I think, for some of those wacky ideas that we've spoken about. They're coming to fruition. For me, the piece or the project or work, the thing that I'll be sharing at the gig is maybe something more personal amongst like the chaos that might be happening at a given moment with everything that's going to be happening at the same time. And I think like when Damien was telling me about kind of what he was imagining this would be like, I was kind of interested in thinking, how can I create something that maybe is a little bit, there's still an element of chaos to it, but there's more of this personal side, and that's something that I like to explore in a lot of my work, I think, as well, like in a personal connection to listening and sound. So the actual kind of thing, it's definitely an experiment because Damien was like, if there's anywhere to do an experiment, it's here and now. It's called The City is an Ear. And it's kind of based on an ecosystem of like a handful of ideas that I feel like I've been really interested in exploring the past couple of years, but maybe even just the past year or so, which is like walking, beautiful noise, ears, observations, maps, like even cities and pianos. I play the piano and also objects and kind of my performance practice. But at the moment, at present, I'm in the process of kind of mapping out and hiding 88 ears across Sydney. And what that means will be revealed at the gig. But so the network of these 88 ears around Sydney kind of form this listening instrument that I'm building, and I'll be performing live for the first time at Clarity Engine. So
Wow, I love the idea of these ears. Are
Yeah.
you allowed to reveal what kind of form these ears will take?
So I guess there's a few things at play. Like with these 88 ears, like um, I'm taking or I'm capturing or recording using field recordings from each of these locations that then I'm like mapping to a keyboard. So kind of like creating a sampler, but then the sampler is also controlling some kind of a visualization of the sound and their connection to these places with this kind of map-like surface I'm building. This is very hard to describe because I feel like it's a very visual thing, which is why you should come. If you're listening to this, you should come
Also,
to.
you don't want to give too much away.
No, but
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like, yeah, this idea of bringing to, or what I love to do is like have all of these threads at play and to kind of weave them together to make this thing that maybe when I'm saying it doesn't really make much sense, but hopefully when you experience it, it's kind of this much more, you know, organized level of chaos. But yeah, I feel like I didn't answer your question, but anyway, that's how these things work.
I feel like you did really nicely, and what I love about your work, Liz, is that like it's always intriguing, and it's always like you're always so committed to the to the intrigue, I think. And it's unlike anybody else's work, I think. I mean, I really enjoyed all the online stuff that you did when we were in lockdown. It was so quirky and and yeah, like just committed. Like you were committed to doing, you know, to doing the same kind of project each week and making it slightly different each week. And I really admire that. It's amazing. So really looking forward to it.
Thank you. And also I feel like, yeah, the stuff that you're referring to and just a lot of the stuff I do, like it is with thanks to like the support of like, you know, with Hibernation Festival, that was like with thanks to Liam and Damien for like also like kind of forcing me to do that because yeah, in essence, I was like doing this, yeah, sound breakfast show once a week in the morning. Like, doing stuff in the morning, it was kind of it wasn't like the best time I realized to be doing things, but it was also great. And it was, you know, anyway, it's thanks to people like that. And even like yourself with like backstage stuff that we've done and, you know, on some offspring things that like you get motivated to pursue crazy ideas because you're kind of like cheering us on. So yeah.
Yeah. That's good to know. And Isabella, you also did a little project for Hibernation Festival with Courtney, didn't you?
Yeah, we did an hour-long improvised set where I played harp and Courtney played flute and did some spoken word stuff. And then we did some like live processing in Ableton, which was really fun to get to do together. So that was a good time to explore some stuff we hadn't done before. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. I know Damien really enjoyed having the two of you part of the hibernation, so hence having you involved in this festival, which is really exciting. So, what are you planning on doing for this show? Something quite different, I believe.
Yeah, so I can tell you about how it came to be, because I'm taking a class at the moment that Damien's taking, which is a sound installations class, interactive media and sound installations. And I've not really done much stuff in this area. I've done some like sound works for installations, but never have I done visual first. I got a and I read about into and like bubble wrap and stuff and I mic'd it up and I was doing some processing in Ableton, but also when you interacted with the triangle and with the wrapping, you couldn't actually play it properly, whether it was with the beta or whether you tried to get through to the metal, you couldn't. But as a result of playing with those sounds of the bubble wrap and other materials, out of that came the original triangle sound as like a bit of an echo in the space, but you couldn't actually play it properly. But you got to it eventually was the idea, and it was a fun little thing, but I was so self-conscious about it because I'd never done any of this stuff before. I presented it in class, and I remember Damien was sitting there, he was like sitting there thinking about it, and he was like, there's something and then he asked me to do this, and so I'm expanding on this triangle idea with a bunch of different objects, and we're gonna hang them up and play with them, and it should be fun. That's the idea.
Awesome. So we just missed a little bit of what you said at the beginning, but I think you were saying that the idea is to wrap up a triangle in bubble wrap and try and create a sound through that. Is that right?
Yeah, sorry. My
No,
internet's
that's
a bit
okay.
choppy.
It feels like very kind of retro 2020, 21 to be having this kind of glitchy Zoom conversation.
Yeah. Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like it's super nice to have you involved, Isabella, because you're probably the youngest person on the program. And when Liz and I came up with this kind of backstage kind of idea, having a young early career artist involved in the program was always really important to us, wasn't it, Liz? Just felt like this was something a bit different to what other people were doing. And so you're kind of it this time, although there are quite a few quite young, emerging early career artists on this particular program, but you're the baby of the program. So so you're super allowed to do whatever you like and try things out and have things go well or maybe not, and just see what happens. So yeah,
it's so great to get opportunities like this. It's so hard to be able to do things where you can experiment and do some crazy things that you wouldn't normally get to do in other settings. Yeah.
And I think it's also important to try and fully realize a wacky idea, get it beyond the classroom and the some kind of funny idea that's floating around in your head, to the point where you're like, oh, people are actually going to be audience to this. So I've got to actually be able to complete it in some way, and that experiment may or may not work, and that's kind of okay. But just that, I suppose, a little bit like what Liz was saying, that just that little push to get it to the next stage, I think is really important. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
And also really nice that probably you two have both done the same class with Damien, so he has really kind of brought you two together in a funny kind of way. So
yeah.
Do you have any more kind of questions about what's going to happen on the day, or anything else that you'd like to tell people?
Maybe just to say one thing, just based on what you were saying, Isabella, I think that having a space to be able to share, and I guess that's what you're saying as well, Lamorna, but share these kinds of experiments with a public or with other people, even if that's just with other artists, sometimes that's really important part of the process of creating these kinds of work. I think some experiments can stay as experiments that you just do kind of in your own space and time, but I think when different experiments can all meet together, like they will be on November 6th, but also for then that bubble of experiments to be shared with other people, I think that that's just always such a wonderful thing. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see how all of these experiments kind of talk to each other and how they feel all in the same space. There are going to be a lot of wacky people in the same room, which is awesome.
And maybe dangerous. No.
Maybe, who knows? How about you, Isabella? Anything else that you'd like to throw in there or ask about? Or
I think I forgot to mention, so while I think the audience will be able to interact with the different objects that I'll have on display, I think Louise Devenish was going to maybe do a little performance on my different objects, and we were going to talk through that, so that'll be exciting to see as well.
Absolutely.
Have someone else sort of interpret how to make sounds out of these different objects.
Awesome. So Louise is obviously amazing percussionist, and she's up here doing a little set with Anna McMichael called Climate Notes. So, yep, she's going to be there. So it's really nice to make the most of her expertise to play your work. And yeah, I mean, it will be a different experience to have other people, particularly a professional like that, play your work.
Piece work.
Awesome. Well, I think that's probably enough of a chat for us to have. Really lovely to hear what you're doing, and need to get everything up onto the website. So I'll get about doing that hopefully soon. And now I'm starting to just babble. So can you both think of anything like really cute as a sign off, or as a quick kind of come to the show thing that we could edit out of this?
Trying to think.
Come to the show or else. No. It'll be fun. It's going to be really fun.
Come to the show, or don't, just stay at home and do nothing instead. Which is better, I think, coming to the show.
Yeah,
Indeed.
You can stay at home any other day.
Sorry?
It's not every day you get to see all these cool, wacky things, so you better be there.
Better be there. Awesome. So November 6th, starting at 2:00 in the afternoon at in Waterloo. All the details are on the Backstage Music website. I think that's about it. Clarity Engine. Be there. Don't stay at home.
Don't stay at home.
What else would you want to do on a Sunday afternoon? All right.